Remember I told you in our last story that when Moses got so upset and struck the rock that God was not happy about that, because we learned that that rock was Jesus Christ. It tells us that in the New Testament. In 1 Corinthians 10, it tells us, Paul is talking about the Old Testament and the wilderness and stuff, and he says, all these people were under the same cloud, they all ate the same meat, they all went through the sea together, and they all ate of that same spiritual drink, the same water. And Paul is relating it to, in our spirit, we are to stay close to Jesus Christ. And remember in John chapter 7, I think it is, Jesus is talking to a woman at a well, and she was there drawing water out, and she didn't know who Jesus was. And he said, I'm going to cut to the chase. And he said, lady, if you knew who was talking to you, you would be asking for living water. And Jesus said, I am the water of life. And so that's why it's so important. And it was important for Moses not to hit on that rock, because way many years back, Jesus was in the whole mix of everything. God was in Christ, and Christ was in God. The two are one. Okay, that's all I had to say this time. I think it is. No, it isn't. One more thing. So, after they had their fill and they had their drink and they were satisfied with all of that water, up comes some people in the wilderness there. And they weren't too far away from Midian. Oh, remember Midian? Midian is where he lived many years ago. Well, a few years ago. And had the high life. Well, his father-in-law, Jethro, came to visit with his whole family out there. And they had a wonderful time together. And Jethro was able to warn him about the different awful people that were surrounding them in the land, and to be on the lookout for him. Jethro had lived there all his life, and he kind of knew what to watch for. So he gave Moses some tips on that. But can you see, there's that picture of Jesus again in the Old Testament, and it's fulfilled in the New Testament. But the Apostle Paul says that Jesus was that living water. They gave them water in the wilderness. And John, the woman at the well, Jesus said, if you knew me, I would have given you living water. It was himself. And so Jesus is just all over from Genesis to Revelation. So that's all for this time. We'll continue on next time. Bye-bye.